And our next story is about survival. And it's nothing less than a miracle. It's a story of 4 Colombian children. They survived a deadly plane crash. And that's not all. They also lived through the dangers of the Amazon for 40 long days. I want you to know their names first. Leslie Jacobo Bonber is 13 years old. Celestine Rannoch is 9. Thien Noriel Rannoch is merely 4. And the youngest of them, Christian Neriman Rannoch, just turned 1. These are the children who lost their mother. They wandered around in the Amazon forest and came out on the other side. On the 1st of May, the children were aboard an aircraft. They were flying from Araraquara to San Jose del Goviar with their mother. And suddenly, the plane's engine failed. The pilot declared an emergency, and soon the aircraft fell off the radar. The search for survivors started. The plane's wreckage was found 2 weeks later. The bodies of 3 adults were still inside, but there was no sign of the children. And this filled the rescuers with hope. This meant that the children were still alive. Operation Hope was launched. 150 soldiers, 200 volunteers from local indigenous communities started searching for the lost children. So did a team of 10 Belgian Shepherd dogs. But you see, it was no easy feat. They had over 300 kilometers of the Amazon forest before them. A virgin forest so thick that the sun barely reaches the floor. Experts say any person can get lost within 20 to 30 meters. It's almost like the forest swallows people up. There are jungle predators, and in case you survive them, there are armed groups as well. As the search pounded on, rescuers came across a makeshift shelter. It was made out of sticks and branches. They also found small footprints, half-bitten fruits, a pair of scissors, some hairbands, and nappies in the rainforest mud. It was just enough to keep the hunt going. Helicopters hovered over the area around the crash. It broadcast messages from the lost children's grandmother telling them they had not been forgotten. The days stretched into weeks, the weeks into a second month. Hope slowly started to wane. Colombians started to wonder if they were deluding themselves. But Brigadier General Pedro Sanchez was confident. He said the children were alive because bodies would be easier to find as compared to a small group moving through the forest. You see, it wasn't a search for a needle in a haystack. It was for a tiny flea in a vast carpet of the jungle. How did the children manage to stay alive for this long? 40 days in a dangerous forest like the Amazon. No child's play. Other than these 4, of course, they belong to Huetito indigenous community, and they had their grandma to thank for their survival skills. The children wrapped rags around their feet, and this protected them as they moved through the muddy forest floor. The timing was also in their favor. The jungle was in harvest. The children ate cassava flower fruits. They had small tents, a small tent made of a tarpaulin and a small towel on the floor. They always stayed near the river to easily access the water. On Friday, around 4 p.m., Colombia's local time, army radios crackled into life. It said, "Miracle, miracle, miracle, and miracle." Miracle is an army code for a child found alive. Repeated 4 times, it meant all 4 had survived. Malnourished and covered in insect bites, the children had been found by the rescue team. It was a relief for the family members and for the entire country. This is what their father had to say.
This is a miracle from God and as beliefs of indigenous people. For us, this is a test God is giving me. how much faith I have in him, and I have said it with my own words, as I said it initially. We as indigenous people are able to search, demonstrating to the world that we found the plane, demonstrating to the world that we found the children.
It wasn't just a win for their family, but for the entire country. Listen into what the Colombian president had to say as well.
The first news is that indeed, the indigenous communities participating in the search, along with the Colombian military, have found the 4 children after 40 days. They were alone. It was them who achieved a great exemplary survival. It will become history. These children are today the children of peace and the children of Colombia.
And when the crew finally found the children, the eldest daughter, Leslie, with Christian in her arms, ran towards them. The rescuers have detailed what it was like. Have a look.
The one who directed everything in the 40 days was the eldest. Leslie was very intelligent because when we checked the briefcase, we checked what she was carrying. She took the tent, towel, camping equipment. She took a torch with a couple of batteries, but it was dying out. The 2 mobile phones, which I think they used to distract themselves at night, a music box, and the bottles of soda.
The boys were so weak that they could not move much. They were lying down when the rescue team arrived. One of them asked for some bread and rice pudding. One got up and said, "My mom is dead." Their mom was in fact alive for at least 4 days after the crash, and she told them to leave and find help as she lay there dying. One can only imagine what she had to go through. But at least her children survived. The forest was so thick that the rescue helicopter could not land. The children were airlifted as the helicopter hovered above the canopies, and they were soon evacuated to the town of San Jose del Guavere and later taken on a military medical plane to Bogota. And there they finally were reunited with their father, uncle, and grandparents. WION now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the updates on the move.